Hi, let me show you how to use Polleverywhere to track attendance in Blackboard. Our objective is going to be to have a gradebook column, which we'll call participation, and within this column we are going to specify percentage as the main display so that as students preview their grade they can see they have 100% participation. And as the weeks perhaps get away from them, they will have 50% participation and so forth. So that's the goal, and we can make this column gradable. So this will be part of their overall grade. Okay, so how is this done? We'll go ahead and delete this particular column and use Polleverywhere. So Polleverywhere is a response system, and we can our peer instruction system, and we have it integrated here in Blackboard. So in order to connect to Polleverywhere, we're going to use the Tools menu right in our course. Now, if you do not have Tools menu, you simply go to Add, Tool Link, and then you will select Tools area, and then you can call it Tools like so. You can make it available to students or not, and so that's how that piece is created. We'll go ahead and navigate to the tools. And one of our options now is Polleverywhere. So I'll go ahead and click on it. Now Polleverywhere is going to take me to their website, and so if I am not logged in, we have to start by logging in. Let me do that. Alright, so I'm now logged in, and the first thing that Polleverywhere is asking here is which class I would like to integrate. We're creating now integration between responses in Polleverywhere and our Blackboard gradebook so that we can give students grades depending on how they respond to questions. Now the default password is going to apply only to new users in the course, so users will be automatically created in Polleverywhere, and so we'll want to do that. I'm just going to use the word default, but you can choose this password and then share it in the class, and students can later change it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and make sure that students are now imported from my course. This particular interface can be simplified by unclicking in the upper right here the ungrouped option and then deselecting all the courses that you are not using. So in my class I have 2 users, and these 2 users are going to submit the attendance responses. So our next step is to go ahead and create the participation poll. So I'll go ahead and go to my polls, and we'll create a new one. Now we'll call it participation. We call this poll participation because it will later determine the name of our column in the gradebook. We can always rename it later. So what can the audience say? Well, one could say, yes, I am participating. Or someone could say, I am here, but I do not participate. And so we want to, of course, grade participation and not just attendance. This might send just the right message to the students in the class. We'll go ahead and proceed with create. Now, in order to send responses from this poll to Blackboard, we actually have to do a couple of changes. First, we'll go to the Edit Poll button in the lower right, and we are going to select Grade Incoming Responses. So we have to tell Polleverywhere which one is the right answer to have a grade in Blackboard. And we have to now press Save. Next, we're going to select the response settings, and we'll make sure that a person can only select the response once. We do not make responses anonymous, and we will only accept them from registered participants. We also want to be aware of locking this poll. So after the poll is started, we want to be able to lock it maybe a few minutes into the class so that it is not open for the rest of the day. So this awareness is important. We'll go ahead and test what the poll looks like, and it looks great. So now we are ready to have students respond. We'll do that by logging as a student, and now we have our first student say, yes, I am participating. Okay, next step is to synchronize the Blackboard Gradebook and Polleverywhere. And this is done by going to Reports. Now we're going to create a new report, a special kind of report, the Gradebook report. This is the only report at this point that can be synchronized with the learning management system. So we'll select that. Now we're going to select our first poll. In the future, we can create additional polls and make it part of this report. So that way it'll be still the same column in the gradebook that gets synchronized. All right, we'll say finish for now, and our report is getting generated. All right, we can see that only one student responded. We could actually set the display so that we can also see all the students that did not respond but are part of the class. At this point though, we are ready. We're ready to press Export to Blackboard in the lower right hand corner. We will select the class that we are importing into and we'll press Next. At this point, the report is getting inserted into Blackboard, and actually a new column is being created. So let's see what this looks like in Blackboard. In Blackboard, we're going to look at a column after refreshing our view. So I'll go to the Grade Center and I will redisplay it. All right, and now behind the final exam, there's an extra column called Participation. And at this point, the total points which are possible are 1 because we only had 1 week of class so far. I'm going to change the primary display so that students actually see the percentage, and I want to see the score as well, so I'll see both of those. Now we do not have to modify points possible. Polleverywhere will do this automatically as new polls are being added to the report, or if all the polls are added to the report, it'll manage also this value. So at this point, students will see 100%. So let's go back to Polleverywhere, and we're going to create week 2 attendance poll. So we'll quickly go through this process. We'll call this week 2, and we'll just say true and false. And quickly go to edit, make the poll gradable, mark the correct response. All right, press the save button. All right, registered participants only, and so that looks fine. And of course, we want to be aware of the need to lock the poll later on. So at this point, we're ready to go. We're going to say run the poll, and we are ready for our student to respond. All right, so now we're ready for the student to respond, and the student will say yes, they are there. We'll now preview our report. So let's navigate back to reports, and let's go to participation. And at this point, we are going to add another poll. So now we have to update the report. All right, and we are ready to say export to Blackboard. All right, so this is not going to create now a new column. It's going to preserve the existing one. Very well, we'll go ahead and check what this looks like in Blackboard. Again, we'll go down to refresh the Grade Center. And now we can see the results in the Grade Center. The results are populated into the same column, which is great. Now, one thing that we're going to work with Polleverywhere on is to ask them that the display is not reset, because as you can see, my effort to display percentages to students is reset when the poll is synchronized. So we'll correct that, and now I can see percentage-wise how the students are doing. So hopefully this was helpful to you. Polleverywhere is a great way to create active learning in the classroom, and now you can also use it for participation that's fed right into the gradebook. Thank you very much.